Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Dice Tower. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Camilla Cleghorn.
I'm Z Garcia. Hello.
All right. Well,
Hello, everybody. Good morning.
no one asked you. They did, actually.
What did they ask me? I didn't answer a question. There was no answer.
No one asked you to be excited, I suppose.
I was excited, okay? For a moment there, for a brief moment, I thought, you know what we should do today? Bring some levity to our viewers. But no. Enjoy having your souls crushed. Good morning, everybody. Sorry.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Hey, lots of things going on here. We're back in full bore, starting as of yesterday. You saw Board Game Breakfast, Board Game Smorgasbord the day after. Some people were confused. They're like, where's the news? The news has never been on Wednesday. So right. I don't know what you were looking for. But Chris started a new show. You want to check it out. It's a very different Board Game Breakfast. So there's that.
What's it called?
Board Game Breakfast. What? I'm
2.0?
You said a new show. Okay, I figured it was called something else.
Speaking of shows.
2.0.
Speaking of shows, we got a couple things coming up. 2 weeks from this past Monday, or a week and 4 days, the Summer Spectacular is starting. You'll see the final top 10s of everybody, including a top 10 from one of our guests. We'll be doing a top 10.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which you haven't seen yet.
No.
Okay.
I don't even care.
Oh, y'all are doing one too?
A different one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Top 10 games you forgot to put in your top 100.
That would be great,
There
actually.
would be 10 of those, yes. That's not a bad one.
No, we would... I'm not announcing it yet because the topic's not 100% finalized.
Okay.
Give me a hint.
It's about games. Let's keep going.
So that's coming up. And then a week after that, Gen Con. So Gen Con has a Dice Tower Awards. There are still a few tickets left for the Dice Tower Awards, I think. Let me look and see. I have to sign in to get this information. Oh, there's 3 tickets left.
So there's a few tickets left, yes.
Okay, well,
correct.
if you want to come to the Dice Tower Awards, it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. I put Eric and Chris in charge, so I don't know what's going to happen. I know a little bit what's going to happen. And you'll see who's won the best games of the year. That's going to be fun. We'll be there at Gen Con, so if you get there, we'll have a booth. Come by and say hi to us at the booth.
Hi.
And in 2 weeks in the Spring Spectacular, we'll be doing a Gen Con preview. People were asking about that.
Yeah.
Huh.
I know.
The Idea Bank. It's happening.
I forgot something in the Spectacular. I'll tell you guys later.
Oh, I knew
it's not on the schedule.
I told you you should have done top 200.
It's not Smorgasbord. I got Smorgasbord back in the schedule.
You did put that back in because you forgot it first.
I did forget Smorgasbord.
Oh.
Well, let's get to the news. Let's get started with the news.
Tell me something good.
All right. So let's get jumping in news. Not a lot of huge news this week, but some interesting stuff. First of all, I just got information on this here, the Uganda Village Board Game Convention and Science Camp. So this is it's a fundraising thing. It's,
They've done this before, right?
I feel like I've seen this before.
I feel like it was last year, maybe?
It was last year. Crowdfunder.co.uk. So you can go check it out there at Crowdfunder. And this is a way to help these kids out. The person running it was talking to me. They're trying to just teach these kids games. I mean, some of the games, if you look at the pictures of all the different games they're playing, I was kind of expecting them to be playing pretty light games, but they're playing all sorts of interesting games.
That's awesome. Are you sending me?
I'm not sending anyone. Africa's on my bucket list for sure. I would love to get there. I would love to go. I don't know when this is. This was May 2022.
Oh, I'm open.
In May 2022? Yes. I don't know when the next one is. I guess I could click this link here.
That's the past.
Oh.
Well, I'll find it out later. Anyway, check that out.
Very cool.
Alrighty. Funko Games, who has made a board game of every intellectual property in existence, is now doing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Slaughterhouse. Didn't we just talk about a horror game yesterday?
We did.
We did.
What was that
Halloween 2.
Halloween 2. But no, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is coming out from that other company, Trick or Treat.
Well, they also have a Texas Chainsaw Massacre game.
Who does?
Different game. You're saying Trick or Treat.
Oh, they have another one.
Well, it's not going to be this one. This one's from Funko Pop.
Well, I get that. I'm just saying it's interesting. It's not now like multiple with this same
There's a lot of horror games
IP.
coming out. Maybe people are seeing the success of Trick or Treat, and they're trying to get on it. $30 this one is, so I wouldn't expect like a big game inside it. One versus many. One person plays as the deranged Sawyer family, dragging victims to their farmhouses and harvesting their meat for a grisly barbecue.
That's some Texas eating right there.
I saw part of this movie one time. It was horrific. I hated every part of it.
So this is going to be a little bit like their Rear Window game, I'm assuming. Similar thing based on an old movie. That was Funko, wasn't it?
That's true. You know what? It's possible that they both have rights, them and Trick or Treat have rights to different movies.
Oh,
because
interesting.
There's multiple versions of this. There was the old original one.
One got one, the other
and then
got the other.
they redo it. Matthew McConaughey in it, wasn't he one in the newest one?
I think they remade one. It's still years and years ago, but
interesting. I've never seen any of them. I'd be interested.
I would not. All right. Dr. Rat is the name of our next game. And while that's a nice picture, that one throws me off because it looks like it would be the back of the box, not the front. That doesn't look like the front of a box.
I don't know what I'm seeing.
You're seeing a rat's medical cupboard.
Okay.
I disagree. I'm seeing...
Is he licensed? I mean...
Right.
Where does he practice? I'm concerned. I'm seeing just discarded food in there.
This is coming from Blue Orange Games.
Yeah.
And Dr. Rat wants to make sure his fellow rats are eating as healthily as they can. So he's going to put...
So he's a nutritionist.
So he's going to put food items into play. He knows which food item is the healthiest. The remaining rat players will discuss which one piece of food they wish to eat. Then the doctor will analyze whether or not the other rats ate as well as they could have. That sounds so dumb. I want to play it, though.
I don't understand. Is it one versus all then?
It's a deduction game. You know what it sounds like a little bit? What's that game where you put out pictures and players have to pick the right picture based on some clues you gave?
Similo?
Kind of like Similo, kind of like Unusual Suspects, kind of like... what's the one with that I like? I forget what the name is now, but yeah, you kind of give them a hint as to which way they should go.
Oh, kind of like the...
He's got these really cool illustrations. Anyway,
yeah,
it might be that.
The dreamy one, the Stella.
It might be like Stella, yeah.
Dixit.
Sounds interesting.
Is it sanitary? Is it safe?
Lots of penicillin.
All right. The next game is from Rita Model. This is from Schmidt Games, and it's about cows.
Almost.
This is in the town of Kufstein, Austria. Cows have overrun the town, and you need to build idyllic landscapes of blooming fields, crystal clear lakes, and picturesque farms in order to round up the herds. You're trying to get your cows to the highest scoring pastures as often as possible. This game originally produced in 1991. That's not true, but that cover sure looks like it is.
If the cows overrun my town, I'm not going to bow down to their needs, okay?
It's going to be barbecue time.
Yeah, okay? I'm recruiting Dr. Rat. I'm recruiting Physician Goat. And I'm going to go to town. Physician Goat, by the way, unannounced.
Hey, we should sometime as a Dice Tower buy a cow. I've always wanted to buy like a quarter cow or something. I have freezer space.
My parents do.
I've never done it.
No, like they raise the cows and they keep half of themselves and sell the other cow.
Kill a cow?
No, I just eat it.
I got some bad news for you. Anyhow, I really like this next cover here. Jokmok. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that. It might be Jokmok. This is in the province of Lapland, Sweden.
That's pretty.
This is from WizKids. It looks really charming, I think.
The winter market.
It's interesting for sure.
Yeah, the designer Henrik Larsson. I know that name from somewhere. You're going to move 2 meeples around the board to collect cards. You're just going through this market. And you get victory points by collecting matching sets, having majorities, so on and so forth.
Is there any cows in it or barbecue or anything?
No, but I see little wooden horses there that you can buy at the market.
That's good eating, too.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do.
All right, Romy Rami. This is coming from Randolph Games, which is now part of the Hachette family. Did you know Randolph was part of Hachette?
I didn't know it. That seems like a weird acquisition for Hachette.
It's a...
Because those Randolph games, the couple I've seen in the past, have left me
We'll show you
wanting.
a picture in a second. Romy Rami is our next game. Randolph is known for card games.
Yes.
Like mass market card games.
Very much so, yes.
We just got this in. I don't know what I mean, I'm assuming those are the 4 suits of the cards in the game.
I guess so. Either that or it's a Pac-Man ripoff.
This has 2 markets of cards, fulfilling contracts. I don't know. I try it. I will try it because we have it.
Cool. I'll pass.
Yeah, I'm good.
Wave.
Okay, now I'm
That's
in.
pretty.
Okay.
That's very Miami.
So we're talking about 4 games here, card games coming up. First, we have Wave. This is from Cosmos. This will be released in August. I'm assuming it might be at Gen Con. You have a hand of cards. The value of the card or the color increasing with each play. Some cards face towards you, some face away. So it sounds like Uno with directions. It's from Thomas Weber. Isn't he the designer of...
I don't know, but that name sounds familiar to me.
Thomas
Why don't
Weber.
you go ahead and
Thomas
Google
Weber. I
Thomas
don't know that one.
Weber.
I thought Thomas
BGG.
Weber was the guy who did... Wait, there's 3 Thomas Webers?
That's probably why it sounds familiar.
But it's not Thomas Weber 2. Hang on one second.
It's not. It might be Thomas Weber 3.
Let's see. It is Thomas Weber 3.
Okay, never mind. I don't know any of these games.
Well, we're about to talk about the other ones.
Actually, they're all
in just a second.
They're all brand new, aren't
so
they?
he has all. So we're going to talk about all four
Yep,
of them.
the next
his.
one is also from him. I don't know if all 3. No, just the first 2. The next one,
yeah, it's in German.
the translation is Jungle Scramble. That's actually 1 word, not 2 words.
Oh, really?
It is. Look.
Okay.
The jungle to triangle. Anyway, there's a party in the jungle today, and animals are gathering on the ancient statues, and they want to climb on top of them. But if too many animals are in a statue, they fall down and climb up anew.
That artwork.
Is it a card game again?
It is.
Okay.
There's something about that artwork I can't quite put my finger on, but isn't there like a Disney movie that is exactly like that style?
Yes, and there's an elephant in it too, and I can't think of it right now. I was trying to figure it
It's
out.
like-
The elephant is like scared and
Oh, it's like so Disney. Like that
Yeah,
artwork is
it's
so incredibly
like-
Disney.
it's right there.
I don't know if
just
I'm
can't-
thinking of like just the old Dumbo or something,
I don't-
or
No,
something.
don't
The old
think
Jungle
so.
that,
Book.
but it's like it's.
There's
I can
something
like
about
picture it. I can
All
picture
right.
it.
Well,
I'm sure the
anyhow,
comments
I,
will let
I
us know.
like the look of it a lot. It seems very Disney.
Yeah,
So-
see, I don't. I'm
Well,
like,
someone says it looks like Animal upon Animal. I don't think so. Jungle
with
Book, it does not
cards.
look like Jungle Book.
no, it's not Jungle Book. I can't.
Tarzan? I don't know. I don't think
Maybe
it looks like
it is
Tarzan.
Tarzan. Yeah, it might be Tarzan.
It's
I'm
the
thinking
scene where
of.
Aladdin comes into Agrabah as a salt. You know what? Let's move on.
Oh, it is.
That
yes,
might be,
It
that might
is
be.
Aladdin. Yep. Where he comes in.
Ali.
Yeah.
Horton Hears a Who. All right. I'm going with Horton Hears a Who. Next card game. This one is from 999 Games. So we have Audition. This is a Colorado-style draft game where you're going to add a card to a row or take a row in your collection.
Okay, I like that already.
Wait, this is the same guy?
No, this is a different one. This is
Oh, we
from
moved past him. Okay.
Robert Brower. And then the last card game today, also from
animal
999
games, huh?
Game. Well, this one is different. This is from Peter Jurgensen called The Brain. It's a weirdish cover. It's kind of cool, but also this is a game Z is going to love because it's a cooperative game with limited communication.
Okay.
You're trying to solve a puzzle, but you're not allowed to communicate. You have to clear all the cards with logic, deduction, counting, and a little bit of luck.
Okay. I might like it.
I don't know either. I'm gonna have to see this one. It does.
card
As soon as I heard the
counting?
brain, it sounded
Ooh.
like it was in that same
The
line,
game,
the
the
crew.
mind, the brain. Yeah. The mind was taken, so they went with the brain.
Let's stick with card games. A very popular game at Dice Tower East, mostly because me here was showing it to everyone. Existence was Nana, and they're republishing that as Trio. Nana is a little Japanese card game there.
Who's
Trio
republishing?
is Cocktail Games, a French publisher.
Okay, cool.
That's kind of a cool. Is that Day of the Dead?
Kind of, right?
Kind
It's got like a
of.
Day of the Dead vibe, yeah.
But then an avocado too.
Day of the Dead avocado.
Yeah, I don't know.
Where's there an avocado? I'm not
Very
seeing. Oh,
top.
it's behind the got it.
Yeah.
I've always abused every single avocado in existence that they animate.
Yes.
Is always half of an avocado.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the pit is such a good belly that they can they can't give that up.
I was like, what happened to the
I
other
also
half
feel
of
like
you?
if
One
it's not,
time.
you wouldn't know what it was either. If it was just because it's just kind of a, it can be a squash, a short fat squash. It could be. Whereas if you cut it off, cut it in half. It's
Yeah.
clear because it has a pit.
Short Fat Squash is a great title for a game.
Short, fast squash.
like
All right, let's
squash.
take a look at the next very pretty cover, Explorers of Novaria. So this is from a new game from designer Meng Chunlin and publisher Grande Games. So there's new continents are coming, so you have to go explore these continents.
This looks to be like, the artwork looks to be from the artist of Root. Is that correct? Or is it just a good approximation of that?
I will check for you, sir.
That's pretty.
It is.
This is coming out at Essen.
Okay.
So the artist is Meng Chunlin. It's actually
so it's the designer is the artist?
Is the artist,
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
Oh, watch your
Okay.
back, Ryan Lockett.
Grande Games, they've done Solar Storm and Isle of Trains. Oh, that new Isle of Trains that just came out,
Interesting.
which we still haven't gotten. I want to get that. Okay. Where are we at? Next.
Do we not know anything about that game other than the really pretty cover?
You're going to play cards. You're
Done.
going to drafting cards into a tableau using action tokens, and then you're going to explore new lands, build settlements, craft supplies and items, and work together with the different races of Novaria.
So it's cooperative.
It's an engine building tableau game.
Cooperative engine building.
I don't think it's
Well, it says
cooperative.
work together.
Well, with the
I
tribes,
think it's
with the groups.
Yeah, work with the tribes. I don't think it's cooperative. It's worker placement. Whoa. It's worker placement and tableau building?
That's interesting.
I really like
Okay.
that. That goes on the list for me.
Yeah.
The next one's on my list because I think it's hilarious, the cover. Without Fail. So a game of easy challenges made horribly difficult by your friends. So the way this game is, it's a party game, and it's published by Exploding Kittens, so keep that in mind.
You don't
But there's
say.
these little physical feats that you have that you're trying to do, but everyone's betting on how difficult they think you'll find it and if you're able to do it or not. So there's enough of these dumb games like throw a ball in the cup, drop this. I'm not usually a big fan of those, but if I'm betting on if you could do it, I'm more interested.
No, this is like the same thing where it's like, hey, who's the least funny of the group? Hey, who's the least athletic? This is how much I think
This
you
is
suck.
more like, can you throw the ball in the cup? And I'm just betting if you can do it or not. I don't think that's mean or not. Because it's stupid stuff. If you can't do it, no one's going to be like, you couldn't drop that in a cup while you're blindfolded? I'd be like, no, I couldn't. I'm not going to feel ashamed. Also, that rabbit who missed the target is hilarious.
Is he dead?
No,
There's
he's
no
not.
blood.
He's
It's a cartoon.
No, the cape hides the blood.
The cape is the blood.
He's
There's no
fine.
cape.
He's going to shake it off. He's fine.
Anyway, this is coming to Walmart and Target at the end of July.
Fire, I'm there. Love Walmart.
Moving on, Exploding Kittens is now launching a kids line.
Ooh.
So these are all in their kids line because if there's anything I want, it's oatmeal art for my children. However, these do look interesting. My parents might be Martian. Hurry up, chicken butt. I want my teeth back. Not sure what that means. That could be from a mobster movie or Tooth Fairy.
I want my teeth back could be from a mobster movie. What?
And the best, worst ice cream. So My Parents Might Be Martians is like a junior version of Poetry for Neanderthals.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Hurry Up Chicken Butt is a hot potato style game
Okay.
where it looks like you're passing at popping a popper. I hope
I don't
that's,
think
it's
that
a
was-
battery powered chicken shaped shaker.
I don't think that one's terrible. All right.
I Want My Teeth Back. You need to re-teeth a monster with a spinner. And the best, worst ice cream is you're building gross ice cream cones with wacky flavors such as pizza, eyeballs, and earthworms. Kids will love that.
So the idea, these are very much for little kids, right? It sounds like
Yes.
very, very young. Okay.
And they're coming to Target on July 30.
What about Walmart?
Nope. Star Trek Away Missions has been announced, and we just got this, actually. I'm very intrigued by this. It's a 2-player game, and it's Federation versus Borg, although you can add with these expansions, the Romulans and Klingon. And you're leading Riker's landing party into the aftermath of Battle of Wolf 359, which you know well.
Yes. I was there.
Or you join Locutus
Wolf.
of Borg and the Borg Collective to assimilate your opposition. There's going to be battle. I'm very, very interested in this.
Are you interested in this because it's Star Trek or because you think the game looks
I
good?
thought it was Star Wars. Oh, it is Trek. Sorry.
Whoops.
Forgive her,
I
Jack.
thought it was generic space. I don't know.
I'm interested because I think the game looks interesting. It's Gale Force 9. I like the fact that it's 2-player
Yes.
because...
I mean, it kind of looks like the, what's the Star Wars 2-player one? The Rebellion, am I thinking of the right one? The fighting on a board one, not the planets.
Imperial Assault.
Imperial Assault. It kind of looks a little Imperial Assault-ish, right?
Maybe. I just think it's interesting that it's asymmetrical. One person's the Borg, the other person's one of these landing parties. Although, I don't even want to play with the humans. I want to take a Klingon landing party on to fight the Borg.
Absolutely. Humans are garbage.
You're full of hot takes today. All right. Let's now jump to
Walmart.
some designers you like. Antoine Bauza.
Here we go. Finally. Jeez.
Designing Heroes of Fairy Tale.
Oh, shoot.
So, Fairy Tale, which my kids watched, I believe
really?
has 500 plus episodes, and they watched all of them.
Jeez.
I watched one episode of it with them in which there was a bar fight, and everyone fought everybody. I was very confused. They told me it made perfect sense. I didn't get it. Anyhow, these are the same guys who also, if you remember, it's Bauza LeBlanc, Theo Rivera, and Corentin Lebrat. They're really good designers. They also designed that Dead Cells game, which hasn't come out yet.
They sort of have a name.
The four of them.
And the Smurfs
that they work
Hidden
under.
Village.
Like, they have a name for their design group, so they put one name on the cover.
This is coming in Q3 from Japanime Games. I'm usually not a big fan of their stuff, but these designers might make me pass by. Also, my kids will play this with me in a heart.
Yes. You got to get the young'uns.
Yeah. Is it a co-op game? No, you just need to be the greatest heroes. So you're getting a group of heroes together, which I believe was part of the theme of this. All right. Funkoverse. Did you think Funkoverse was dead?
I did.
Well, it still is, kind of, sort of.
Oh.
So the Nightmare Before Christmas, they're adding these 3 trick-or-treaters, Lock, Shock, and Barrel, and you can play with them as a single character or separate them.
That's fun. That's fun.
That's cute.
That is funny and cute.
I like that.
I am wondering, I don't get Funkoverse's shotgun approach to this, because they'll be like, we're doing DC. Here's 8 DC characters. We'll never talk about DC again. Here's the Kool-Aid Man. Nothing else. You're not getting the Jolly Green Giant. So Nightmare Before Christmas is the first time they've come back to something, I think.
I like that, though.
They've done a few, but they just picked like these very minor characters from that movie.
I disagree.
They're not
These
minor
are
at all, Tom. You need to watch that movie again. They're very well-known characters in that.
I know they're well-known because everyone's known in that movie, but they're not the main characters of the movie.
No, they're not main characters.
They've already done. Sorry, go ahead. They've done the big ones.
No, that's what I was going to say. Is I feel like they are the minor characters, but they're some of the most beloved characters. Like their stick, their part in the movie is very iconic and well-loved. So yes, they are minor characters, but in a cult following of these 3 kind of way.
Right.
Oh, I can say when they do Star Wars.
When they do the Wolfman and the vampires, then they're scraping the bottom.
Oh, I do love the Wolfman.
Anyhow, but my thing is, I think it's weird that they did this now and the other ones came out quite a bit ago.
I agree.
In between, they did Squid Games and
Did?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Like 4 Funkoverse?
Yes. That's the last that they've done.
Oh, wow. Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's just they jump around, and they did Jurassic Park, remember?
Yes, right.
But they didn't do all of Jurassic Park, and they didn't. They go in and they grab a few things and then they're out. It's weird to me.
Yeah.
All right, El Grande is coming out with a new edition from Lucky Duck Games.
Oh, interesting.
Now, I really, really wish that they would show us the game, because that's a nice cover. But I'm very curious about the board, because that's where the board... El Grande is ugly as sin. And so I'm
Is
very...
that one with the tower that you put cubes in?
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah, I like the game a lot, but it doesn't look good at all. And so I'm hoping that the inside has been changed.
This is a classic coming back right here.
This is
kind of like when they
Poland.
reprinted Raw just recently. This is on that level.
Oh, I hope it's on that level. That'd be awesome. In news no one asked for again, there's an expansion for New Frontiers, the Race for the Galaxy board game, the Starry Rift. I should say no one asked for it. When New Frontiers came out, I thought, hey, it'd be nice if there's some more content for this game.
So
that was back when people played it. Have you seen anyone play this game? Like,
I never
at our
have
cons?
ever actually,
No.
but I've never seen this one.
No.
I don't know anything about it. I really don't.
New Frontiers is essentially mostly Puerto Rico with a little Race for the Galaxy thrown in.
Race for the Galaxy is mostly Puerto Rico, though.
But I mean, there's the board where you take the actions and the colonists are coming and sitting on your buildings, that sort of thing.
Okay.
They're not colonists in this game, there's something else. But it's that same idea. It's, I pick an action, everyone follows me. I mean, it's really close to Puerto Rico. And then it just has the Race for the Galaxy. It's the third in their series. They did Race for the Galaxy, Roll for the Galaxy, then New Frontiers.
No, there's another one.
Well, that's a remake of the city, but yes.
Right.
Anyhow.
I'm worried. I do wonder if they're at all worried about brand confusion here. All these games look alike.
Yeah.
I get that it says right there what it is, but I'll give them this. It's a fantastic cover. I love that cover.
It is, yeah.
And I'm going to try it because it will bring New Frontiers back to you. Maybe we'll catch a Palooza that one. You've never played New Frontiers.
Yeah.
All right. Here's a really cool cover from Horrible Games, Sunrise Lane. I don't know why I like this cover so much. The color shading, I think.
Does that say Reiner Kanitzia?
It does say Reiner Kanitzia. So I think it's the first time he's done a game with Horrible Guild. And you're running construction companies with the goal of building up a residential neighborhood. Blah, blah, blah. I read the description of this. I cannot tell which of his old games it is, so maybe it's new. He has been doing some new stuff lately.
He has been doing some new stuff. I like Horrible Guild, especially lately. They've been doing some amazing looking games. Yeah, we'll see. I like the cover.
And speaking of Reiner Kanitzia, Tigers and Euphrates is coming back. If there was an interview with Reiner Kanitzia on our channel from the World Series of Board Games. I want to point out Mike DeLisio makes these slides, okay? Just keep that in mind. I'm still trying to figure out if that thing with the pictures of it is real. I asked Mike.
Of course it's not real. No, it's not real.
No, Mike says he thinks it is.
No, it's not real.
Are you sure?
Yes, I've seen those things. Back in the day, you could go to you had these apps that you could put a picture in there, and they would do whatever with that picture. Like it would be a lady looking at a magazine, and your picture was on the cover. You could do the Andy Warhol thing.
Are you saying Mike played me?
Mike has played you.
Mike has played you, yes. Absolutely.
That is very fake.
Would Mike go look at those?
He would, too, yeah. He'd buy one if he could.
Anyway,
so Tigers and Euphrates, I feel like the last printing of it was not that long ago. Was it Wind Rider? Was that the last printing of it?
I don't remember now because I know they did the Yell and Yangtze.
That was after, yeah. I think it might be. So
we don't even know who the publisher is. It's an unnamed publisher.
So this is basically not even news yet. Mike was just excited about Kanitzia.
No, he said it in the interview. It's coming out at Essen. But the Good Doctor not yet seen the graphics or anything.
Wow.
Why am I calling him the Good Doctor? That's what's written in the script. Thanks, Mike. You're tricking me. All right. Next we have Everwell Farshore, which showed up randomly here right before we went to Starry Rift, so we haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
Someone played it. I don't remember who, and they told me it was like Everwell with an expansion or two added.
In Office here, so one of us played it?
I don't know.
No, because I know there was a couple other...
Maybe Alex, who played it? Someone told me.
There's a couple other content creators at East, and I know it got played quite a bit there.
That's who told me. The Delps.
Got it. I was like, it was either them or Kirby's.
Yeah, I saw a little... I read a little bit online about it. I haven't even looked at the game in person. And it seemed like the general feedback I was hearing, and again, this is online, so take all this with a grain of salt, was this is kind of like Everdell with a couple of minor twists. Mm-hmm. This is too Everdell for its own good, was kind of the vibe I was getting.
Yeah, someone said, why would you own this and Everdell?
Yeah, that's kind of what I've heard.
I'm like, okay, well, I want to try it, but it doesn't seem like a good idea to make a game so similar to Everdell that you compete with yourself.
It would be nice to have one game that is Everdell plus a couple expansions in one little game box. You know, instead of having to go through and add.
Thing by the front door?
I don't know. I just sold mine. Because without having to go and like add the expansion, take it out, just have one standalone that kind of includes that. Mm-hmm. But like you said, at that point, how do you justify both in your collection? You know, right. I don't know. But I also haven't played it, so interesting.
All right. Well, also the artwork is not Andrew Bosley.
It's not. Who is it? I was going to ask. Because that is not him.
I remember looking at the box. It was what's it called? Farshore.
Farshore.
Everwell
Farshore.
Everwell Farshore. The artist is Jackie Davis, and she's done Stonemeyer stuff. Viticulture, Euphoria. She did Cupidos. Stockpile.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
She's fine. It doesn't look like her normal style. It looks like they're like, hey, do Bosley.
That's what I was going to say. It looks like she's like, hey, how well can you copy this style? And
Which is fine.
That's not
I
a complaint. I think
this looks.
I don't think this looks bad. I mean, that's not a complaint on how it turned out. It's just not Bosley.
It's very pretty. Very pretty, I think.
All right, finally the news. The One Ring has been found.
Didn't we cover that already?
I thought we did.
That it was found?
I thought so. Anyway, it was found. That's great. I mean...
Oh, because it was East last week, so that's why. Because it was right before we left.
Yeah, it was right before East. We talked
about it a lot.
Okay, side question here for you, Tom. Have you noticed any of the prices start to go down?
I haven't looked at them. I've heard that they're going down on the big ones. They have to. Now, here's the thing that cracks me up. So whoever got it, sent it into a grading company. From what I understand, that they charge them $10,000 to grade this card, too. Or it's sealed in a thing. So these companies grade cards, and this happens all the time on Magic cards, so that you can sell them. The highest grading a card can get is 10, like mint. This got a 9, which cracks me up. As if that changes anything.
No, they check it for imperfections, but they don't have to be...
No, but why does grading it even matter? Because there's only one. If there was multiple and you're like, here's a 10, here's a 9,
right?
I care.
I think it makes the value go up. You are certifying it original, legit. You're sealing it also inside this thing and giving it, that's...
But I think what he's saying is, what does the rating matter? What is the 9 versus the 10? If there's only one, it doesn't matter. If it's a 4, the value is still set based on it being the only one, not based on the condition.
The rating is inconsequential. They need to rate it.
Yeah.
That's what you send it to them for.
Did he get a paella?
He hasn't. I mean, again, this is it. That's all we're going to hear.
If he sells it, he's going to be very coy about it for a while. If I sold this, I wouldn't tell people.
The person was anonymous. They sent it in. I don't know if they sent it in anonymously, but they stayed anonymous. They opened it. They knew what they had, which was another good thing. It wasn't some kid who cracked it and was like,
It was found in Canada.
Oh, come on, Wizards of the Coast.
The person who found
Canada?
it immediately put the card in a bank vault, which is what I would have done.
Yes.
Secure legal representation, smart move.
Yes.
And arranged for the card to be graded by PSA. They
knew what they had immediately. Yeah.
You can email hello@thenottablegroup.com if you have a serious offer. They say the owner's accepting serious offers through their attorney. Okay. I bet they make more than $2 billion. You know there's private collectors out there with cash.
Net, though?
Well, they weren't going to get
getting
net,
an attorney involved and all that.
They're going to get taxed on that, too.
Right.
He could just sit on it for several years. It's not going to go down in value.
This guy's broke. He needs that money.
He just spent $10,000.
Well, I don't know if it's $10,000. I heard that someone in comments said it was not. I might be wrong on that. I was listening to Secret Cabal, and they often don't know what they're talking about. It's interesting. $2 million. Anyhow, that's the news.
Do you have any idea how much magic I could buy with $2 million? I would just turn it
around. I would buy 0.
Just buy boxes of magic. Maybe there's another one. All right, anyway, that's the news.
Hi, I'm Anne from Game Like a Mother. I specialize in games that can be played in 20 minutes or less, and because it is summer, I thought it would be a great opportunity to talk about some games you can play at the pool or the beach or the lake, wherever you're getting to spend your time. And these are games that are not Hive. Hive is a wonderful insect-themed chess-like game with tiles, but you need to have some other options if you are going to the pool. So these are a few that we really like. The first is Draconic Dice. It came out in 2021, so it's pretty new, and it is very simple. It's a 2 to 5 player dice game in which you are just rolling dice and trying to be the first to get rid of all of your dice. It's really simple, but it is one of those games you're going to want to play over and over and over again. There's just a few different actions that can happen depending on what you roll. You either have a dragon, which you get to pass to another player, or a fire, which goes into a fire pit. And then if the next person doesn't roll any fire, they have to pick up any of the dice that are in the middle there. And then you can roll an injured knight, which just gets discarded for the rest of the game, or a blank, and nothing happens if you roll a blank. So it's really easy. It's one of those games where you can play it with people that don't play many games, and because it's all open information, you can help them with whatever they need to know to do. But it's also, the theme is so great. It's so quick. There was a post in one of my Facebook board game groups about the right length of time for a luck-based game, and this is it. It is so quick and so fast. It says 10 minutes on the box, but we've had games go much faster than that. This is a great game just to chat at the end of a board game night. So it's great for the pool, it's great for the beach, but it also, because it is so portable and versatile and has a good player count and has a lot of different audiences that can do well with it, it's one that gets a lot of play. The next game that we really enjoy is Yam Slam, which is basically like an updated form of Yahtzee. And this gets some extra bonus points just for the nostalgia factor, because it kind of feels like Yahtzee, but it's better and more streamlined. And instead of having to keep score on a scorecard, you just get these really cool poker chips. And you are not limited to what you are getting. The different poker chips correspond to different dice rolls you're going for. And if you get if there's a 50-point chip for getting a large straight, and if you just keep on rolling large straights, you can get all of the chips for the large straights. And my favorite thing about this game is that it felt like in regular Yahtzee, when I was a kid, I'd always end up marking off my Yahtzee. And then if I did happen to get it, it was really late in the game and I'd already crossed it off, and so it didn't count, and it was always just kind of a bummer. And in this, there is no chip that is a Yam Slam. It's just, if you get a Yam Slam, you get whatever the highest value chip is left, and you get a bonus turn. So it is always a happy thing to get a Yahtzee or a Yam Slam, and you're rewarded for it. So it's just a more positive kind of feel. And I have nephews that visit every summer, and this is their go-to game at the pool to play with me, which is really fun, and we've bonded a lot over this game. And then the final one, if you're more in the like Hive crowd, it's Aqualin, which I feel is kind of the happy cousin of Hive. And it does have an actual board that you're playing the game on. So that could be a little tricky if it gets wet, but if you put it on a towel, if you're careful, you should be okay. And then the rest of it is just tile pieces. It's a 2-player game, and it kind of feels like, to me, like upgraded checkers, perhaps, in the level of strategy and what you're doing. It's so simple, but it is deeply strategic, and you're trying to have the highest scoring coral reef at the end of the game. You and the other person are building in the same area, and all you do on a turn is you get to move one of their tiles, and then you place a tile, and then you refill the draw pile where you have 6 to choose from, to draft from for your turn. So it's very simple, but the decisions that you're making and how you're placing them out there, the tiles you're placing out there, can be very strategic. And so it fills that same need for kind of a more strategic pool game, but that plays really fast. And I mean, talk about theme being correct for the place that you're playing the game. It's coral reef, it's all sea creatures, so it's perfect for that. And you try to either get the most of the same type of sea creature grouped together, or the most of the same color of sea creature grouped together. So very simple to get up and running, but just great strategic choices to get into as you play. So that's it for me today. Thank you so much for having me on. You can check out my website or my YouTube channel for more of my content. But thank you so much, and back to the folks in the studio.
Here we go. Yes!
Today we're talking a little bit about Dice Tower East, which we just came back from. We were there a week, basically. Yes. Most people went up Monday and came back Monday.
Though.
Some people went up Sunday and came back Monday.
So,
me, yes.
And me.
You went up for vacation, though. That doesn't count. I was working Sunday. I left early Sunday so I could work
I have
Sunday.
pictorial evidence to the contrary. You went to the Korean hot pot place.
I'm sorry. I did eat.
How dare you eat while you're on the clock?
Partake of a meal during the day.
Okay, now.
You are that is correct.
Anyway, our top 3 today are top 3 fun things that happened to us at the convention.
That's not it.
But that's not what I did.
Games? No, games, things.
Top 3 things that
at
happened
the
to us
convention.
at the what?
Well, you said you didn't want to do games.
No, you said we have to do games.
Oh, jeez. Okay,
What
my
did you
number
do?
2 is I read online about some moron finding the One Ring, and I was like, Canada? Are you kidding me?
What's your number 3?
My number 3 is actually not a game I was in. It's the only one but it's a game thing. I taught Thunder Road Vendetta at one point. I was on the hot games table there. It was getting a lot of love, and at one point I was near the table. Some folks were trying to figure the game out, so I volunteered to help them teach it a little bit. It was a little bit of a rough teach, but I got my way through it. And they were a very receptive group. They were really, asking good questions. We were figuring a couple of things out together, and then I left, and they got going. The rewarding part of the story was much later that day, I ran into one of the guys who was in that group, and he told me how much fun they had, and this is what's great about this game, told me, the story of the game.
Yes.
And he was like, oh yeah, at the end I was able to jump on a ramp and I landed on the next board and it eliminated 5 vehicles on the 3rd board back out because they were still there because I hit that ramp and then fought for the last position I'm like, that's fantastic. So it's that story that comes from playing the game, from experiencing the things that happen. The game is a roll and move game, really. If you boil it down to its absolute core, that's what it is. But you get some fantastic, cinematic, hilarious, bombastic things that happen during the game, and that was one of them. So that was a very rewarding thing for me to later on hear from him. Thank you for teaching, and here's what happened, and it was amazing. So that was my number 3.
What I love about that game, too, I think is really good. He described it as a story that happened, and then I rolled a 2 and moved 2 places. So even though it's roll and move, that's not the story that comes out. It really does sell the experience. I think it's awesome. Yeah.
My number 3 is our Wits and Wagers game that we ran, and it was really fun. Last year we ran 2 of them, and the second one wasn't as good as the first, and I thought also each one of them was sparsely attended, so I said, we'll just run 1 this year, and everybody came, and it was great. The couple who got engaged last year was there again.
Oh.
Still
engaged
again, or?
Still married, still together.
Playing
at separate tables. I don't know. What happened?
Jeez.
They rolled a 2. And then they moved 2 spaces. Anyhow, Hunter and Rebecca were there trying to ruin the game as always, which is fun.
Okay.
And it was just a very fun game. I like Wits and Wagers, and I always love the moment I ask a question and every table delves into conversation.
Yes.
At the same time. Cracks me up every time.
Yeah.
I forget the questions were. The oldest community in America is in Arizona somewhere.
Okay.
On average, there's 30,000 people. What's the average age of that? So that was one of the questions that people got. What do you think it was?
I don't understand. What's the average age of the person?
Of this community. So if you take everyone in this community and average your age, what do you think it is? It's the oldest average age community in America.
I thought you meant it was the oldest standing, and I was like, I don't think that's how pilgrimage worked. The oldest average age? 37.
What?
I don't know.
58.
It was 71.
What?
Something. Yes.
Jeez.
Well, I'm going to move to that town. I'll be like, hey, guys, I'm young.
So they specialize in funeral
retirement
homes
community.
and retirement
That's
communities.
what I'm saying. That must be really grim. You go out of your front, door with your walker every morning, so who died today, Jim?
The town itself has
Think about
6
that,
morticians,
okay?
right?
Think about that.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, you're ruining my Wits and Wagers game. Anyway, that was my number 3. What about you?
My number 3 is I got to teach one of my favorite games. Something I've said is...
Obsession.
No, but that's a good one too. Oh, I should have. No, so one of my favorite things is being able to play my favorite games, because that doesn't happen a lot in this job, really. We just play a lot of games, and so I was able to get genotype.
Accusatory.
Do it? No, it wasn't. It was just
not me. Don't look at me.
So I was able to get genotype to the table and taught it to 3 people who hadn't played it, and they all really enjoyed it. It was just a really good experience to be able to play one of my favorite games, teach it to people, and see them enjoy it as well.
Cool.
That's it.
All right.
Played one of my favorites.
All right, my number 2 is also actually involves Hunter and Rebecca Thomason.
I like them.
And
They're
their
fun.
little bean, who is now a tall sprout, by the way. I played.
He's playing genotype now, apparently.
Yeah. We have a bit of a standing tradition where we get together on Sunday, the last day of the convention, sometime in the morning, and we'll play something. You know, if we can make it happen, then we'll do that. And I always have a great time seeing them again, sharing a little time together. So, of course, we're doing the whole, like, looking out of the library, what are we playing, what are we doing? So I settled on cross clues. I'm like, oh, let's play something light and party-esque. This is kind of like Code Names, but a little more free form.
I like it a lot.
We had a great time with it. Everybody was, it's a game in which you are trying to give people clues to get them to guess 2 words with 1 word you're saying, but there's no turns. That's what I love about cross clues. In Code Names, when it's my turn, everyone is staring at me. I'm looking at this board going, and I just end up doing something dumb because I wanted to move on. So I'll be like, donkey, 2. And it's like, cart and horse. I'm like, great, okay, whatever. Let's move on. In this game, whenever you are ready to give a clue, because you're looking at a card, you go, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do one. So in the rule book, it has a funny line where it says, when you are ready, gather the group's attention or something like that. And so I read that verbatim because it made me laugh. And then for the whole game, we were like, let me gather lend me your ears. Let me gather your attention. And we'd be like, oh, yes, of course, yes. And so then give the clue and do that. Everybody had a good time. The kiddo had a good time. Yeah, it was a fun little party game. So it reminded me that I really liked that game, and I got to spend some time with them, which was lovely. So that's my number 2.
My number 2 is a 7-way tie. Oh, I played Ready, Set, Bet 7 times. So I'm including all the games. It's fun.
You could have done a top 10.
Yeah, you could have.
Top 10,
Almost.
you're right.
Yeah.
I can't think of number 10. No, I love playing Ready, Set, Bet, and I have the new mat and the chips from AEG that they gave me.
Okay.
Along with the thing. And it barely fit on the tables there. Those tables are not made for giant games.
Right.
But that one, it just worked well. I didn't have one bad game. Every game people had fun. Some games,
you were always running it, I'm
broke.
guessing it, right?
Yeah. Someone came by and was trying to browbeat me and I let them run it. And I was like, no, Joey, go do something else. But I had a lot of fun playing it. It was really entertaining. And I played with people who have played before and people who haven't. It's fun both ways. This game, why it's not, it's good. I did learn my lesson, though, from Dice Tower Retreat last year. I maxed out it twice a day on it. I played it twice, and I was like, I'm done. Because at the retreat, I played it like 8 times a day, and I was losing my voice.
Sure. Okay.
So, all right.
My number 3 is
Number
2. My number 2, that's the one I'm going to talk about right now. It is more of just an experience. I did play after the exhibitor hours. They were setting up for a game called Flock Together. So it was a prototype, but a very finished production prototype that we played. It was a lot of fun because the designer was there, and it was just so fun to play with him and just see his passion and excitement of this game. It brought about a lot of laughs. It has a lot of chicken puns, and things like that. But they're good puns, not like ye puns, they're really good.
I said that not.
No, I mean, they're just, they're puns, they're rooted in history, and so it was fun because he'd make the pun and we'd laugh about it and explain the history, and it's this one because this type of chicken actually has this, and just to see his passion for this game come to life. And then also Andrew Bosley illustrated it, who's my favorite illustrator, and he joined us for the first half of the game as well, so that was a really neat experience. Is just to be there with him and have him talking about some of the not design choices, but the color choices he made and things that maybe they would change before it goes to production, stuff like that. Just to see kind of that a little bit behind the scenes and just play with the two of them was a lot of fun. So I really enjoyed that play of Flock Together.
I was there for that as well. I'll make it an honorable mention for me. I didn't want to put it on the list because it's well, again, it's not out. It's not a thing you could have, that anybody else could have freely done, I guess. I felt a little weird about being like, I played a prototype, like very, very close to production prototype, with the designer and the famous illustrator and Camilla.
I felt like it was the experience, though. You know what I mean? So that's why it was. Yeah,
I had a fantastic time. I just didn't want to put it on this because, again, it feels a little just weird to be like, I got to hang out with some famous people. So, but anyway, I had a great time with that game.
I thought it was fine.
Criticize you there.
I know, right? I was like, I don't feel that way. I thought it was a really cool thing I got to do. So, anyway.
Your number one you played with?
My number one, I got to hang out with Tom Vassell.
Oh my goodness.
I got to hang out with. No, I'm kidding.
I know, because he didn't play any games with me.
No, I try to avoid it, in fact. A lot of what I do at Dice Tower East, especially, and the cruise to a certain degree, is bring out games I know how to play that maybe I haven't played in a while and teach them to folks. Oftentimes I'll be asked these things like, oh, what new game did you play? Oh, what are you looking forward to trying? And I'm like, I might learn one new game, maybe two, but a lot of what I'm playing there is things I know how to teach-ish, mostly, right? But also I can control the play and the sort of fun of it a little more. And one of those, which is my number one, was Mission Red Planet, that I hadn't played in ages at this point. It hadn't come off the shelves at any of these events for a while. So I grabbed that, brought it out, had a full group. I think I had 5. I think technically it plays one more, but had 5. Very different people also, very different energies around the table. Like a particularly eager person. I was playing with one lady who was a little reserved at first, but then had some subtle humor and was, her husband was sitting on one side of me and she was on the other, and there was some biting commentary back and forth, which I thought was really funny. And she was like, made a couple of moves for the throat, and he was like, oh, here she comes. I'm like, oh, okay. So she's she's been quiet, but she's been hiding. So the whole thing was just really fun. Mission Red Planet is one of those games that there's a lot going on the table. There's this area control and all that, but the people and the things they're saying and the funny, commentary is a big part of the game for me. And I thought it went over really, really well. So it was nice to bring that back out and have it be successful. So my number one.
I was unhappy because I didn't get to play my number one game at Dice Tower West because I lost my voice there. But I try to play this at every con, and it's been almost a year since I played it, and that's Cosmic Encounter. And I saw some people playing it, and they invited me to play it, and I felt bad because I couldn't play it at that point in time, but I remembered, I need to play it. So I got a 7-player game of it in.
Oh, wow.
Almost became an 8-player game, but I didn't have pieces for 8 players.
Yeah, right.
7 players is a bit, but this one went really well. The player who won played the Masochist, and they win if all their pieces die. And they've upgraded the Masochist to make it better now. Like Mobius tubes no longer affects it.
Oh, this is in the new expansion.
Yeah,
right?
So they now have a chance to win. And man, who was I playing? I was playing Love, which is one of the most hateful powers in the game.
I don't remember that.
Love is you discard a card from your hand, and everyone else can discard a card of the same type. And then if everyone does that, you keep all those cards that were discarded. But if any one person doesn't, you get to put a colony on their planet.
Oof.
I know! It's so mean. It actually shows the art for Love shows him carrying a baby Hate in his in one of those baby carrying cases. Hate and Love. I was hoping they'd be in the same game. That would have been funny.
That's great.
But yeah, it was just a great game. Went on. At one point I could have won and someone stole that from me. It happens every game.
Yeah.
And then we stopped. We Cosmic Zapped the Masochist so they would not win in their turn. Tried to fix it. Nope. We Cosmic Zapped him again. But after that, he won. He deserved to win. So
really, with the alternate win?
Yeah, with the alternate win.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
When the Masochist in the game, it's really fun because I'm like, I'm attacking Camilla. He's the Masochist. He'll be like, I'm joining you.
Like, no.
I'd prefer not. Because you play cards on the other team
to help make
them win.
To make them right. Yeah.
Anyway, Cosmic, just fantastic. It was a great game.
That's fun. My number one was again, just a game that I love, and like you were saying, it's just so comforting to play a game that you know, to go into it. And so it's another opportunity that I had to teach. Skate Summer was this one, and it's one that recently I thought that I had kind of cooled on this game. I was thinking about it, and I was like, my rating still is the same with it, but I don't have that as much just like, I want to play this, that drive. And I was like, all right, it's still really good. Just I'd lost a little bit of my enthusiasm. And then I played the game, and it was such a fantastic play that I was like, nope, that's not the case. So I thought I'd cooled on this game, and this play just reignited all of that for me again. So got to play a game that I know really well, that I could teach without the rule book, that I know that I love, and it reignited that passion. There was something that I had not seen before, and that was Joey had an 80-point turn. So he was behind the entire game.
Did he have an 80-point turn? Because he hasn't bragged about that at all.
Yeah, no, he definitely hasn't let us all know. But no, so he's behind the entire game, right? Like 20, 30 points behind. Like he's in the teens.
Sucker.
And Alex and I are, ending the game here. And so he's like, whatever, I'm just going to go for this mad combo trick. And so he does, and he's played a card, which then got him a special trick, and he got another special trick. So he ended up playing 3 or 4 special tricks, and then maxed out this one scoring opportunity, scored them all as that one, and one double. It was just insane. It was this combo. So just to watch it go, and I don't know, I just felt that relation to like skateboarding is like, well, I'm out of this competition. I might as well give everything I have. And then you land this perfect trick, and he just completely wiped the board with us. It was so epic and so fun, and we're just like, gosh, I love this game. I love everything about it, and it was just such a fantastic play that it just reignited the love that I already have in this game. And I was like, yeah, but like I said, I was already thinking for my top 100 next year. I was like, it's probably gonna start falling some. And then I had this play, I was like, no, it's not. It's possibly still rising for me. It was so exciting to have that with a game that I love. Just getting to the table again and be like, yep, it is as good as I remember. Yes, Joey is bragging in the comments about his
80-point Joey, they call him.
No
okay,
one's calling
right.
you that, Joey. No.
I do like whenever a move in a game is so good, that somebody else's move is so good that it transcends you being even upset about it.
Oh, right.
Like you want to stand up and applaud.
Yeah, you're like, it's so good, you're like, that's amazing.
It was.
I am happy to lose to that move.
Absolutely.
That's the same thing in the Cosmic game, because the guy had a card. Someone had to attack him, and he only had 3 ships left. We're like, well, attack the planet with no one on it. He played a card that slid those guys right over. I'm like, well, that's how that works.
Like, just amazing.
Right.
Well
I mean,
done.
it was such a smart play on him, but then also because it has that push your luck, in it, and he just had amazing rolls, and it was like 3 times in a row. We're all just like, me and Alex, just like edge of our seat watching, be like, oh my gosh, he just nailed it again. So anyway, it was incredible. So yeah, my number 1, playing Skate Summer again, and just having the passion for that game just reignited.
Well, there you go. Those are the 3 best games we played at Dice Tower East. Let's keep going. All right, now we're talking about Dice Tower East, just for our back talk, about some thoughts on it. That intro to back talk with the flames, very appropriate, because this was the hottest week that I can remember almost in my life.
Oh.
Like temperature.
The last week,
okay, I
temperature-wise?
thought you were talking about Dice Tower East. Like, it was a flaming pile of...
No.
Awesome.
I was awesome.
I'm saying the temperatures, it was
so
crazy.
hot.
In fact, Monday... it was Monday was the hottest day in recorded history, like an average across the globe.
It was so hot.
Happily, but people come in and be like, the temperature is really cold in the cons. I'm like, be thankful.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, now.
Come on.
Yeah, but the walk between like the convention center and the rooms was, 50 paces. It was like nothing, right? And even just then I would get sweaty in that little bit outside.
It was a scorcher.
Super hot.
Yeah, I was glad that we had an inside convention at that point. And I felt bad for all the people who were like, we're doing Disney on the side. I was like, Have
Good
fun.
luck. Yeah.
Oof,
The
yeah.
pools were super crowded. Like
they were.
everybody was in the
The last
pool.
night I walked over, my son was at the pool, and I was like, huh, everyone in Orlando is here.
Yep.
So, but the con itself was a lot of fun. I had a lot of good times. We had a lot of new people there, a lot of new folks who had never come before, and a lot of people have come to many of our events. It's always funny to me. We have these people who go to everything. Mm-hmm. You know, like, oh yeah, we were just at West. I'm like, whoa, so were we, but that was our job. You know,
Right.
You guys are doing it for fun.
Yeah.
I felt good because I didn't lose my voice. I know it sounds dumb.
Yeah.
But that really dampened West for me. People kept making me, they're like, go rest in your room. I'm like, I don't want to rest.
Well, you feel fine. It's just your voice gone. Because I was feeling that near the end of the con, just from projecting so much, you know. Definitely was feeling it towards the end of the con. It is kind of like, but I feel fine. My voice is just tired. You know, it's hard.
We're going to talk next week. We'll do a video on the most checked out games.
Okay.
But man, the library saw a lot of use. The hot games
games tables were always hopping, yeah.
They really were. I mean, I occasionally saw them empty. Well, I mean, I saw them empty when I got there at 5 in the morning. But during the day, almost all of them. And we had our special version of Star Wars Rebellion, which I put out for the first day only. People weren't playing it. They were just looking at it. And we also put out a special version of Beyond the Sun. Well, that didn't get played as much. But the rest, I saw maybe an Earth empty once in a while, but there was 2 copies of it. And I saw...
I saw Revive empty quite a bit.
Yeah, I think that's because when people go to it, it's like a 2-hour game to get into.
Right. That's true.
But I never saw... World Wonders was always full. The car racing game, what's the one you were just talking about?
Thunder Road.
Thunder Road
Vendetta
was always full.
hopping,
I will
yeah.
say there was always some that I did see each table have, there weren't like lines lining up for it. So there always was. So I think at some point I saw each of the table open at least once. But it was not for long. They were well utilized. So it wasn't impossible.
I don't want there to be lines.
That's what I'm saying. But I mean, like, I feel like
Yeah.
at other conventions we have gone to, it's just like people waiting, just ready to jump in there. It was a much more relaxed environment, I felt, which was really nice, that if you wanted to, you would have had an opportunity to play. It wasn't...
It's nice that the hot game tables are right there. The library is right there. Like if you saddle up to play a hot game and it's going, you can kind of gauge how long they're going to be, or you can ask those folks how long, about how far into it they are or whatever. Walk over to the library, check out a game, and go sit at a table right by the hot games. I like that space is being shared by all 3 of those things. Here's the hot games tables, here's general gaming right here, and the library is right there. Go in there, peruse. So many games in there, check something out and go play it, and then, walk on over later and try to get into that hot game. I think it's a great setup, having all of that right there.
And I think having that visibility as well fed into people being willing to teach the game. Because I multiple times I walked by and someone's trying to learn it from a rule book or something. 2 minutes later, I'd look back over and somebody else was there teaching it. Oh, hey, I just played this, let me teach it to you real quick. And I loved that culture that I saw kind of developing. Alex was the lieutenant over that, and he did a fantastic job making sure he knew the games and trying to encourage that. But it wasn't just him I saw teaching. And I loved that. I loved that you see a rule book come up, and in that hot games area, it wasn't long before someone else was right there teaching it, paying it forward. I love that.
Yeah, I never even thought about that, but I went to BGG, and I go to the hot games and I'd be like, oh, it's okay, there's nothing here I really want to play. Okay, let's go to the library. Go to the library.
It's kind of like, if that room is separate like that, in my mind, it's a bit of an out of sight, out of mind thing.
Sure.
But if you can always, whatever you're playing, you can glance over and look at the hot games tables. You're not distracted necessarily, but you can kind of check in on what's going on. I really like that.
Yeah, it feels like a separate kind of thing happening. And if you see it crowded once, you're like, well, never mind, it's always crowded. I feel like it's easier to make those assumptions and block it off in your mind.
Yeah.
A lot of friendly people there. Lots of people came up and talked to me. I tried to be out there. It wasn't overwhelming, though. One thing that we really pumped up this year was the dexterity games. And I was so happy to see them getting used, especially Pirate Billiard.
Yeah, that
was the game of the con, practically.
You just got it not that long ago, because I know you wanted to put it out there in the dexterity area, and it was always busy.
And you hee-hawed on that one, right?
well, it's an expensive game.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
Like, you hee-hawed. It's good to see that pay off. Like, you took the plunge, you put it right there, and it was always being played. I don't know how many full games of it was played, to be fair, but everybody was toying with it and trying it out.
You've never seen it. It's a game where it has like a very taut board, and you hit it underneath with hammers and make these balls fly up and try to land in other people's. I've yet to see anybody who's remotely good at the game. But it's just fun to play.
Fun. You got to pick up the little hammers and have a go at it. It's so good.
Other than that, I mean, we'll go into more detail as time goes by, but I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who came, and if you weren't able to make it, maybe you can come to one in the future. We have the cruise is coming up. Our cons are really starting to have very distinctive feels. Mm-hmm. I think East is maybe a little closer to the retreat a little bit. It's just feels like a big retreat.
Vendors. We should talk about that too, because it's like the retreat. The retreat's a little more intimate, and it's very much about that gaming. But at East, you do have those vendors. I certainly made my way over there and walked around a little bit, and there was some really neat stuff over there.
Did you eat any freeze-dried candy?
I had a little bit of it, yes.
Did you smell gaming candles?
No.
No, in the very back there, someone was selling little candles with different flavors, scents.
Smells, yeah.
No, they were selling cookies though. I bought some gaming cookies.
There was everything. Like it's a microcosm of a Gen Con or something.
Very microcosm. Yeah. I don't want anyone to be.
I just think it's interesting. You can get like brand new games there. You can get games that have been available for a bit there. You can look at somebody's prototype of some game that's coming to a crowdfunding. You can get candy, candles, coasters. I'm like,
right.
I just think it's very interesting. It's this microcosm of a bigger show that has all these interesting things, and of course our own booth as well. So you could have gotten merch there. Mm-hmm. I thought it was really cool. They had there were a couple of hot games there actually that were surprise hot games being sold. Like, for example, they had Expedition.
Yeah, that blew my mind.
That was there. And I believe it might be the first time you can get it outside of having pre-ordered it.
Yes.
Was right there. Yeah. Showed up. Folks were like, they put up a sign like they're showing up a little later today, so there was that anticipation building. And they had enough where you could buy one if you wanted to. They didn't get a couple of copies. There were enough. So that's great. I love that. Again, when I say microcosm, I mean it. It was that sort of like Gen Con excitement for a new release right there.
Right.
And in fact, the first place you could get it, so I thought that was great.
But then still maintaining that focus on gaming.
Yeah.
So you got that little bit of feel, but then got to game a lot. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
We see the bare bones behind the con. Mm-hmm. We get there at the beginning, we set up, we hear about every little problem. So sometimes the con we have to constantly remind ourselves the con is not full of problems.
Right.
Little things pop up here and there. You're like, oh, this, that. But I want to say a big thanks to all the people who worked at the con.
Yeah, they were fantastic.
They did a fantastic job. Just especially the registration. I'll brag about that. We have no lines in our registration.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you might wait a minute or two.
I think the longest I ever saw someone wait is like 3 minutes.
Yeah, and I love that.
Yeah, Tony and Leo did a fantastic job organizing. They thought about the flow, making little micro adjustments. When we got there, Tony and Leo spearheaded that registration process and just absolutely killed it. Yeah.
Does this sound good? Well, the cruise is coming up later on in February, right? Is it January?
January.
February.
January.
DiceOutCruise.com. There's still some open rooms, although many of them sold at the con, where people were there and they're like, I want to go on the next thing. So if you're doing that, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. That's it, though. And that's it for this Board Game Smorgasbord. We'll be back later today, me and Camille and Chris, talking about our top 10 dexterity games. So stay tuned for that. But until next time, I'm Tom.
I'm Camilla.
I'm Z.
And you've been watching Board Game Smorgasbord. Nom, nom, nom.